Namo Tassam Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassam Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassam Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So last week we studied the lesson about the root condition. So we have a kind of series talk about the condition called in Patthana Abhidhamma, the special text that talk about the phenomenon, the nature of thing, etc. And last week we talked about root condition, about three kind of unwholesome root, and the other is three wholesome root. And based on these six kind of root, it guides us to do wholesome deed and unwholesome deed, and this is the start of everything, like suffering in the samsara cycle of rebirth. So when we know that we still have these kind of root, especially the unwholesome root, we try to uproot them so we be free from the samsara. So that is the last week lesson. So today's lesson continue the series of condition, the 24 condition, Patthana, and also to answer one question of last week, that one person, one lady, she asked about the person in Vietnam culture, in Vietnamese culture, after one person passed away, and they believe that that person will stay around like 49 days, 7 weeks before they go to another place, they rebirth. So is this true in the teaching of the Buddha, or is just the culture? And what should we do about that? And also, so happened that this is also the question you bring up quite a long time ago, and so now we have a chance to give the answer. So we talk about the asynchronous, right? Asynchronous Kamma condition. Asynchronous means that it's not together, but different times. So first we talk about the Kamma. So according to the book called Patthana by Lady Seattle, Kamma, when we talk about Kamma, it talk about the distinct function. So what is the distinct function? So we should have the idea about the word called Chetana. Chetana means volition. So it means that you have the idea of to do something, that volition, and that volition will determine other works, dominant other work to do their job, like action of thought, action of body, action of our work. That volition determine, construct, and arrange all of its concomitant to perform their respective function, but simultaneously. So when we talk about the distinct function of Kamma, we talk about the Chetana, which is the leader, which is the predominant for all kind of action. That Chetana arrange us to arrange all of the concomitant to do action through thought, through speech, or through body. So that is the first definition of Kamma. The second definition of Kamma is something that beings or a creature act or do. So what they do physical work, bodily work, by speech and by mentally, and all of the action determined by Chetana, by volition. So you can say in another discourse, you can say that Chetana is the Kamma. Yeah, it's because it arrange all of the action we do. So there should be good Chetana and bad Chetana, or wholesome one and unwholesome one. So that's why in the Patthana, there's a definition, there's a flawless and faulty karma, or we can say wholesome and unwholesome chetana or karma. So we continue talk about the karma condition. So what is called condition means something that the kind of the phenomenon assisting the state others to performing some their action they're doing by way of action. So it support other phenomenon, support other concomitant to do something. So it's called karma condition. So karma condition have two kind. As we say, chetana have two, the wholesome and the unwholesome thing. But if it have two kind, one is asynchronously and the other one is coexistent. So the chetana, the volition, it can be the karma condition for others concomitant by asynchronously different times, or by coexistent, by together in one time, in one moment. So there are two ways. But we not talk about that coexistent today, but we talk about the asynchronous volition. Asynchronous volition. Okay. I lost my thought. So when we talk about asynchronous karma condition, it means that the action you do now, the volition you arrange your action now, even is thinking, even speech or through bodily, doing now, but the result will yield in a different time. Different can be few minutes later, or next life, next existence, or far away existence, and we cannot count. Countless existence. The gap between them can be countless existence. So it is called, that's why it's called asynchronous karma condition. And because it depends on how strong that karma is, how strong that action is, it will have the capability to yield the result. But when it have the capability to yield the result, it will give the result immediately. Just like at the moment of the person pass away, this is the consciousness called death from this assistant. And this is the rebirth linking the consciousness of the next one. So when the karma, it have the capability to yield the result, it will give the result immediately, bring you to the next life immediately. There's no gap between the consciousness of this life and the consciousness of the next life. So immediately the person die from here, they will appear in the next existence. Okay, this is the definition of rebirth in Buddhism. So how do we understand that? So we have the four kind of beings: the beings born from egg, beings born from womb, being from moisture, and being born spontaneously. So so when the person die, it will yield the result. The karma will yield the result and help that person to be born in the next existence immediately. So the flawless and faulty karma relate to the resultant aggregate. Is referred to the mind, the consciousness, and the karma produced matter refers to the materiality of the next life. By karma condition, it will bring you to the next life. So if you are reborn as a human being, so at the very moment at the very moment here, we have the picture here. We have there are three factors that the father and mother together, that the mother in the right time, and there's a being ready for that. So we are reborn as human being in the womb of the mother. And even it's just a drop of blood, it also called a being in Buddhist perspective. So for the person who was born in the Deva world as a Deva, as a celestial being, so because the celestial being they don't go through a process like human being, so immediately they will appear like a Deva. The whole body is a Deva. So no need to go process. And if we was born as a egg born like chicken, like duck, so we should go through the process the same way. So in Buddhist perspective, there's no gap between the death consciousness of this existence and the rebirth of the next existence. And somehow in Buddhism, there are some a person have misconception of this kind of rebirth. So I bring up here for you to differentiate between them. There are some idea about reincarnation. So reincarnation, we don't accept it in Buddhism. Reincarnation believes that there is a soul, and that soul move from this body to another body after that. But Buddhism, we don't believe in soul. There is no soul moving from this to that. But because of the condition, like Kamma condition, after that, it will bring us to another existence. There should be more condition than just one Kamma condition to help us from this life and use the result, bring us to another life. But all are conditioned. And we don't choose to move to another body. So it is reincarnation. And there are also another concepts about incarnation. So incarnations like a god, a person who have power, and that person, that Deva, that celestial being, incarnation as a human being and to do some work for them, appear like a human being and do some work for them. So we don't have such kind of idea in Buddhist perspective. And there are one idea that happened. It occurred after the Buddha passed away about 200 years, and it record in the text called Kathavatu. And the elder monk reject this idea, and it's not correspond with the teaching of the Buddha. It's called Antarabhava, or in English you can say intermediate existence. So they believe after 200 years after the demise of the Buddha, there's a group, they believe that there's a intermediate existence. It happened a week or longer. So that's why in Vietnamese culture, they believe that there's an intermediate existence for 49 days or 7 weeks. And we don't accept that, because after the death, there will be the rebirth in another existence. There's no gap between them. Because if there is a gap between them, so what we call this kind of existence, it cannot belong to any four of the kind of beings. It cannot be counted as a sensual realm or five material realm or immaterial realm. So if the person who is Antarabhava or intermediate existence, so that person can choose a better place to rebirth. They don't the people never want to go to the hell and enjoy over there or be born as a hungry ghost. Sure, they will choose to be a human again or to be a Deva, celestial beings. But we have no choice. We go by our Kamma. So Antarabhava is not true. It's not. And it's not true for the person who do that kind of action, that kind of karma. We call is it gives the result immediately after they pass away. There is kind of strong karma, strong action that will surely give the result in the next existence. There are 5 of them: patricide, matricide, killing arahant, wounding a Buddha, and creating the schism in between the monk community. There are 5 kind of unwholesome, terrible, unwholesome action that will surely yield the result that the person after that they will surely born in the hell to pay for what they did. So if there are antarabhava, surely they don't want to go to hell. They will choose another place. So the conception of antarabhava is not true in the Buddhist perspective. So next, when I talk about the karma, the action we do now, it can yield result in the future, and we don't know what future is, where future is, or it can be 5 minutes later, it can be in this life, it can be after this life, or far away from in the samsara. We don't know exactly. We talk about there are 4 kind of karma divided by the time it yields the result. And how can that be? How can that be? So in the commentary of Vibhanga, it gives the example, the simile for us to easy to understand. So I will change it a little bit for today understanding, so for you to easy to more understand. So it talk about the person who do the transaction. So when we buy something, we do the transaction. So when we do the transaction, the business is done between both of us. But after that, they will take time to deliver, to ship it for you. So in the same way, you do the action is like, you do the karma as like transaction. You're done with that. But the shipping time, it depends. It depends. Sometimes it's late. Sometimes it takes longer time than it is expected. Just like we order the invitation card for you, for Katina to send for you. It came already, but the other things still waiting until now, not come yet. Actually, it should be yesterday. It should come yesterday, but today, nothing. So in the same way, karma, it needs time to yield the result. It depends on how strong it is and to yield the result. Therefore, we have 4 kinds of them. One is really, really strong, and it can yield the result in this very life. The second one yield the result after we pass away, immediately after at the next life. Like I told you, the person who commit terrible, unwholesome deed, kill father, kill mother, kill the arahant, wound the Buddha, or divided the community of the monk. So they will surely born in hell after they pass away. Or the person who do really, really good, wholesome deed, like attain jhana, absorption. So surely after that, they will born in the Brahma world. And the third one is the kind of karma. It can yield result wherever it wants. In the samsara, we don't know exactly when it can yield the result. The gap between them can be really, really long time. As I told you in the first slide, the countless existence. We don't know. And when it want to yield the result, it will yield the result. When it have enough condition to yield the result, it will yield the result. We cannot control them. And the last one actually is not kind of karma, but is the like void karma, like this, ineffective karma. So when the person who attend noblehood, like Arahant and the Buddha, when they pass away, demise, nibbana, the karma cannot follow them anymore. So it becomes ineffective. It cannot yield the result. It doesn't have the capability to yield the result every anymore. So it is called ineffective karma. So based on that, I have one story to share with you today. It's written in the commentary of Dhammapada. So one day, the Buddha, together with his assistant, Venerable Ananda, go on the road, and when the Buddha see a pig, a small pig, and a young pig, and he smiled. He smiled, and every time the Buddha smiled, there should be a reason behind that. So the Venerable Ananda asked him, "Why did you smile, Venerable Sir?" So he said that, long time ago, during the time of the Buddha called Kakusanda, that pig used to be a hen. So the Kakusanda Buddha is the first Buddha of this earth. There are two Buddha between our Buddha and the Buddha called Kakusanda. So in this earth, there will be 5 of them. The Kakusanda is the first one. Our Buddha is the 4th one. There will be one more. So it's been that long time ago. So this hen, she lived nearby a place the person practiced meditation, like meditation hall. So when she lived by the meditation hall like that, every day she heard the person, the yogi who practiced meditation, and he tried to remind the object of meditation, vipassana object meditation. So when he recited like that, the hand listened, and somehow it affected to the mind of the hand. And after the hand passed away, it reborn in as a human being, as a princess called Upari. So, and somehow it affects the consciousness of the hand, and to the princess, that she can remember something. So when she went to the toilet and she sees everything dirty, she observed that and practiced on that kind of object, and she can attain the first jhana absorption by just looking at that. So somehow by the power of previous life, it affects her. Then she can attain the first jhana absorption. And because she attained first jhana absorption, that karma yield the result immediately after that. So after she passed away, she was born as a Brahma in the Brahma world, and stay very, very long time. But that Brahma go down to a pig again when our Buddha appear. That's why the Buddha smiled, because Brahma live in a really high place, stay very long time. They now go down as a pig or woeful rib. That was his smile. That's why he said that people governed by thirst crawl about like a trapped rabbit, bound and feathered for a long time. They return to pain time and again. So we are just like a trapped rabbit by hunter, because we cannot go anywhere else. We just go around as he wants. And we are tied, we are bound, we are fettered by craving, by thirst. And because we still have defilement, that defilement bound and fetter us, and we just go around like that. This life we appear because we did something in the past, karma action in the past, and that karma action yield the result, and we receive everything now. But now we continue to do action karma, and it will bring the result sometime in the future. So that's why it continuously, there's no gap, there's no stop in the cycle of rebirth and samsara. So somebody will say, so why we just stop doing kamma? Can we? Impossible, because we still have the root, 6 root, 3 wholesome and 3 unwholesome. We still have the root. And because of that root, because of the defilement, we still do kamma. Even we say we don't want to do kamma. Sometimes we do, so you can count like every day, how many kind of kamma do you do? By thinking, by saying, or by action, by doing bodily thing. And how many of them is wholesome one, and how many is unwholesome one. And all of them will have a chance to give the result because of the kamma condition. It cannot have the result right now, but it will bring the result in the future. So that's why last week lesson, I have the idea to talk to some of the devotee that so you choose which one you want for your life. You choose the left one, or you choose the right one. You choose the good one or the bad one. It's up to you. And because all of them you should bring to your next existence, and you will pay sometime in the future. In the samsara, we don't know exactly. So you can choose what you receive in the future if you do it right now. So continue with the story that the Dhamma commentary talk a little bit more. So after the big passed away, and she reborn in a human world, this life after another life, feels like between them. And in the last one, she was born. She was married with the minister, and when the minister of the minister and wife visit a monk, and that monk he just say that, oh, now the big become a wife of a minister, and she's surprised. Why the monk say to me like that? And she tried to think again, and somehow she can recall her past life, and she remember that she was used to be a hand and become a big during the time of the Buddha and all of the other life, and she feel afraid of the existence, afraid of the cycle of suffering. She go up and down many times like that. She feel afraid, and she asked her husband to be ordained as a nun. So she go to the temple to practice more and more diligently, and not so long time she attend the first noble person, first level of noble person. And after that, there's a war, so she need to move to her parents' village, and she try more and more and become an arahant, the last level of the noble person. And before she passed away, before she demise nibbana, she called everybody, and she tell all her cycle like that, and remind everybody to practice diligently, not to go up and down like her. So today's lesson, asynchronous kamma condition. We know that the kamma you do now, it can yield result in the future, but we don't know exactly when it gives you the result. It can yield result in this very life, even a different time when we're doing, or it can yield in the next life after we pass away, or in the samsara, in the cycle of samsara, wherever it wants, it will yield the result until we attain noblehood, become an arahant, so we can destroy them, we can make them ineffective, so we can be free from the cycle of rebirth. Or else we still pay what we did now and make another one for the next life. So you can think which ones you want, wholesome one or unwholesome one, and receive wholesome result or unwholesome results. So it's up to you. It's up to us. The future is in our hand. The karma and its result in our hand. We can choose what to do. So thank you for your listening.
We still have plenty of time to discuss of today's topic. So we just end with the lesson, with the note that we can't stop making action, right? Action is a part of us. And the momentum is ongoing. How can we break the momentum? Are we should do differently? Like he said, that someone say, "Oh, action is so dangerous, so scary. We should stop making action." But can we? As long as we have this body, we have this mind. Whether you just keep quiet and stand still, don't do anything, but you can still make action by thinking. So what should we do? So last week we mentioned about the six type of action. 3 is unwholesome and the other 3 is wholesome. And that is continuously feed in for us, to live on like this. So action is not something that you can, stop, because whether you want it or not is out of the question. So what should we do? So he mentioned it is your choice. Right now, you have the choice of choosing the left or the right, wholesome or unwholesome, right? And when you are in the momentum like this, there is no way to stop. So it seems like you are in the dead end. There is no way out, right? But actually, there is a way out if you do it correctly. Right now, we are on the verge, on the process of doing wholesome deed. We keep doing wholesome. If we have not got out of the cycle yet, break the momentum yet, at least in the future, our life will be better than we are having now. We're better off materially. We are better off with the mental, like more happy and things like that. And it makes it easier for us to continue to do wholesome and continue to practice. One day, when our insight is mature enough, we eventually break the cycle of rebirth. So there is hope. There's still hope. But you have to do this correctly. You have to choose to be on the wholesome side, which is non-greed, non-anger, and non-delusion. As long as you do it like this, you can still get out of you can break the momentum of the rebirth of the suffering. So by looking at this one, in the picture, starting with the hand and then be born as a princess, and then she practiced meditation, and then she reborn in the Brahma world, which is the heaven world. But then nothing is permanent. Even though she got born in the Brahma world, and in the Brahma world, is the lifespan up there is very, very, very long. It could be million or trillion of years up there compared to human years. So, but then again, everything has to come to the end, at one point. So indeed, at the end of the lifespan in the Brahma world, that Brahma get to be reborn. But so happen, he fall all the way down to animal like a pig. Isn't that sad? And that is devastating, because in the Brahma world, everything up there is very very good, very, very well state. Heaven is beautiful, everything is luxury and peaceful and everything. And then from there, you drop all the way down to be an animal. That is very, very sad, very devastating. So, but then again, that's how it is. As the Buddha say, we cycle through all of these 3 worlds like this, and seem like there is no way out until the Buddha appear and he show us the path, and he show you this is how you do it to break the cycle of rebirth. So in the meanwhile, like we are here today, we learn the teaching of the Buddha. We want to practice. We want to promote our life to be better in the future. And And there's two types of meditation that help us. One is the samatha, which is called tranquility meditation. And the other one is called insight meditation. We often hear one is samatha, the other one is vipassana. The samatha one is the type of meditation that you focus on one object so focused that you absorb into it and you have this peaceful, tranquil state of mind. But then again, your defilement is not purified. It's not, you're not correcting yourself. You're not correcting your mind. You are not filter out the defilement. In this kind of meditation, you kind of hide away your defilement, or you kind of brush it under the carpet, but you know it's still there. When you lose your mind concentration, the defilement eventually gain the momentum, and you back to where you were before. Whereas the insight meditation, you face your defilement up front. You battle with it. You try to defeat it. In the process, it can be a very kind of tough situation. You have to face a lot of difficulty. As you know, fighting your defilement, facing your defilement, you either defeat it or it will defeat you, right? You either, they say hunter and hunted. You either be hunted or you be the hunter. So when you practice insight meditation, you will face your defilement. And if you are weaker than it, it will consume you and you feel very sad, very depressed, very bad state of mind. But if you have enough knowledge, you have enough diligence, you overcome your defilement, that is when you found very peaceful, very happy, very insightful. That's how you increase your insight. But then again, it's a rough ride rather than the samatha, the tranquility. Focus on one object to the point that you absorb into that and you have the strong mind concentration. But then again, you don't build up insight. When you practice tranquility meditation, not building up your insight, your defilement is still there. When you are, let's say that in this person that in the Brahma world, at the last moment of this person's life, defilement rise, bubble up, but we don't have enough insight. We don't have the insight. We cannot battle the defilement. Somehow, the defilement take the best of us. That's how we fall down into the woeful realm, which is the animal realm. But if you have insight, you keep your mind calm, you try to think positive, you have to change your attitude. All of the knowledge that you learn from practice insight meditation, you keep your mind delighted, wholesome. When you reborn, you either reborn back to the heaven world or be back into the human world with knowledge and all that, and then continue your journey and get out of the cycle of rebirth. If not, it will take you wherever your state of mind at that time dictate you. So probably to be born as a pig, that was an unwholesome state of mind at the time of rebirth. Okay, so there you go. It's up to us. So here, that's why we Monk here focus on insight meditation here in this temple more than the tranquility meditation, because we found that insight is more useful, more vital to our next existence. That's how we can overcome all the suffering that the defilement causes. A lot of our devotees ask us about the samatha meditation because they found that it seems to be easier to practice, more peaceful, more delightful to practice. We Monk here only know theoretically, not practically enough to guide them, but we did tell them what it is and all that, explain. But we always encourage them to do insight meditation more than tranquility meditation, because the insight that help you to overcome your suffering or to promote you in the next rebirth, all about the insight. So it seems what he just say, it seems like hopeless, but there is still hope. Okay, don't feel like, oh no, I'm trapped. You know, there's no way out. There is a way out. The Buddha point out already. It's up to us. Yeah. And he mentioned about the business transaction. He's saying that when you buy something, there's a transaction. Money already exchanged. You buy the transaction, the purchase is confirmed. You pay your merchandise already, and you're waiting for the merchandise to be delivered. And that is done. The next one is to wait for the merchandise to be delivered. We don't know when it's gonna arrive. Sometimes it's arrive late, sometimes on time, or sometimes it come early. It depends. Just like when you commit an action already done, you cannot undo it. The result to be born is depends on the time and the condition. Depend on the condition that factor in that help the result to bear quickly enough or get delayed. So with that in mind, it help us to think that because of ignorance, we commit a lot of action. Sometimes we commit unwholesome action. And because of that, rather than feel negative about it, like, oh, what should I do? I already did the bad thing, so I'm gonna face the result in the future. So, and then rather than feel negative about it, there's still hope. There's still something to do, about it. Action already committed, but there's still other condition involved, factor in that promote this result to to manifest. So action already done. So the condition, now we need to do something. We need to change the condition. This condition will nurture the action that the action that already been planted to bear the fruit. So try to fit in good condition to change the outcome of the effect of the cause that we did. So that's why every day we are encouraged to do wholesome to change the outcome of the unwholesome action that we already committed. That's the only way it makes our life better. We can avoid it, or we can delay the result that manifest, that yield. Okay, so there's always hope, whether you understand enough, that you know the technique, you understand the teaching, or you are willing to do it or not. A lot of Buddhists, they call themselves Buddhists in Vietnam, they learn a lot about the teaching of the Buddha, and they also learn the technique, but they don't want to make an effort because it's so difficult, or it's mean that you do this, you give up a lot of things. So they kind of delay or procrastinate until the bad result from the bad action catch up on them. And then they start scared and then come to the temple and say, oh no, what should we do? Is there any way we could, we can do something about it? But if the result already yield, you just have to put up with it. You have to live with it. You can prevent it before it yield, but once it's already here, you have to eat it. The cake that you bake, if you don't want the result to come out, then do something before the cake already done. If it's done, you have to eat it. Or something you do, the result, that's something that you have to bear with it. So that's what we are doing right now. We practice, we meditate, we hold back on our negative thought or negative action so that we can prevent the negative effect to yield. Because out of ignorance, we commit a lot of unwholesome acts. So don't be despair. Don't be hopeless. There's still a way out if we are willing to do so. We talk about the antarabhava, the intermediate, we call limbo stage. You heard of the limbo state, the limbo between death and life. A lot of misconceptions. Somehow it brought into Buddhism as well is a different school. We call the Mahayana school, that they talk about the intermediate of the limbo state, and then it become a culture that when someone die in our family, we often come to the temple. We ask the monk to do the prayer, and they do a lot of chanting, and hopefully, the person already passed away will find his or her way to take a reborn. To be reborn. But in Buddhism, especially Theravada Buddhism, the concept of the intermediate state is incorrect. We reject this theory for this reason, that there is no gap between death and rebirth. As you can see, all the bubble, the circle, that's actually is the moment of the consciousness that's consecutively moving from one after the other, just like a wayside, will go up. One go, it will complete, it move to the next one. There is no gap in between. And at the moment of death consciousness rise and seed, the linking consciousness, the rebirth linking consciousness will pick up right away. So there is no gap. And the rebirth consciousness will determine, or not determine, the last consciousness, the death consciousness. When you see it bring all of the characteristics of the kamma, the action that we committed previously, will determine the being that we're gonna be in the next life already. So the moment that rise, the rebirth already bring along with all of the characteristics for the new existence. So when a person die, or a being die, it automatically reborn as a different being. Which one is it? We don't know, but it has to follow 4 types of being of rebirth up there: egg born, worm born, spontaneous born, and lastly, moisture born. The egg born, as we all know, being born from the egg, go through the 2 process of rebirth, born, right? Born as an egg, hatch it, and then become, a living being. And then the spontaneous born is being that, like being in heaven, being that, go to heaven or go to hell or heaven, or hungry ghosts or things like that. They are spontaneous in the sense that there is no process of born. How should I say? Birth, process of birth, right? Yeah, there's no process. They just flip from one to the other. Let's say that a person who's a person like this, if they born as if they take a spontaneous born, then they flip from this image to a different one, just like flip it over like this, no process at all. They will, let's say they're born in heaven, they will reappear in heaven as a being, as a male heaven a being, or a female heaven being, with beautiful complexion, with a mature look and everything. There's no process of growing up or anything like that. And then in heaven, they will take the life of heaven, luxury heaven. Go ahead.
Like, I remember you telling me about, I was talking about like ghosts before, like negative,
So punya.
Send you the punya, and that will help you maybe pop out, right?
Yes. With the condition that Holy Ghost has to take delight or rejoice with the wholesome being of the person that's making it.
Oh, they have to.
Yeah, they have to, because action can be done in 3 ways. We learn, right? The mind, through the speech, or through the body. So if
complicit with the wholesome deed that another person is doing, they will gain merit, they will gain punya as well. And if the action is, if the dana or the generosity or some good action that's been done through something is very powerful, then they will gain a very powerful punya. And when they have the punya, they can be liberated from the suffering state of, that current state of mind, or in that brain. Make any sense? So that's why knowledgeable, you have to know how to do it. If you're complicit with it, then you also, the same way that you also make. You may not have the person who complicit or rejoice with the wholesome act, may not have as much punya as the one who indeed, did all the good action. But they have some, they have a part of it. And then when you have the punya, then you be free, you be out of the suffering state. Okay, go ahead. Yes. Yeah, that's why the insight meditation from the beginning, when you are not skillful with the technique yet, you may have to face a lot of difficulty when defilement bubble up. You have to face it. You have to understand the technique. But once you overcome your defilement, then you will have a very peaceful, very happy, very, good state of mind. So, right. Both meditation will lead to peaceful and happy mind. One is you just kind of focus only on object, and because of that you lock onto the object, and then you establish mind concentration. Because you have strong mind concentration, the defilement has no way to penetrate through. That's how you enjoy the blissful state of mind at that time. But how long can you live in the state of concentration mind forever? You have to get out of it at one point, right? Well, okay, you can put it that way, but it's still wholesome in the sense that they completely, block out the defilement. It's impenetrable at that time. But will you keep this shield forever? Because you need to go on with your life, right? You have to get out and doing your work, and you have to live your life rather than just stay in the absorption state. On the other side, with the vipassana insightful meditation, you have the knowledge, you have the insight to overcome the defilement that rises. And when it rises, you have the ammunition to put it out. And when they put it out, no defilement at that time, and no defilement, blissful state of mind rise. So which one you want to choose is up to you. Okay.
Because the chicken was educated by listening, and then maybe when it became the princess, again, more education took place. So then when it became the deva, maybe not so much education was continuing, and then it became the king. So a lot of it, and then they went to the temple, right, and then worked on.
You learn to get up. Education that we need to learn. We need to learn the technique. We need to learn the theory first. Then you have to put it in practice to get the benefit. See, that's where we miss. That's where a lot of us, majority of us, we talking about Vietnamese Buddhists. They learn a lot. They go from temple to temple. They learn from other teachers. Sometimes they speak the guy right. Sometimes the guy wrong. They learn a lot, but they don't put it into practice. Yeah. So they continue to face a lot of suffering in that. So education is important, but practice is more important. That is when you get the result. And also practice also needs persistence. A lot of us here drop out. Oh, go to the temple, so boring. And so they drop out. Well, what can we do? Life has to go on. So anyway, so education is important. Practice is more important. Okay. So, but you got to learn the right way as well. Like a lot of Buddhist teaching, they come and they learn about the intermediate stage. A lot of Buddhists, I talk talk about the Vietnamese Buddhists who learn a lot. They don't know better. It's just, they're the teacher, the monk who taught them that way, and they learn it that way. Even my mother, she also believe in that. So when someone passed away, they come to the temple and they do a lot of chanting, hoping that the chanting will liberate them from the, from the woeful realm and take rebirth. And they believe that during that time, that being doesn't know where to go because of a lot of attachment when they're still alive, a lot of attachment to family, property, things like that. So they got stuck in limbo stage. So they don't know where to go. So the chanting will help them to realize and take a rebirth. And we just mentioned about it. If we have the capability to decide where we want to be reborn, would you want to be reborn in hell, animal, or hungry ghost? No way. Nobody want that. You want to be reborn in heaven. Enjoy your luxury life up there. Or to be born in human with power, beauty, wealth, and all the good thing, right? But do people are the same? Yeah. They don't. They're not the same. They're different. So if you have this capability, you should know where to go. That's good for you, right? Nobody want to, and hell would be so empty. There would be no hungry ghost. There would be no animal. But you cannot decide where you want to be reborn. Your karma will decide it for you. Well, actually, heaven do have different beings up there, because heaven is the only good thing about heaven is the luxury life up there. Beautiful, everything is available for you to use, and is magnitude, compared to human life. Everything that's so beautiful compared to human life is magnitude, is like exponential. Okay, but only the material part, not mental, because as long as you have greed, anger, and delusion with you mentally, wherever you go, whether heaven or hell or human, you're going to make hell everywhere you want to go. Okay? That's the only difference. That's why heaven being, they fight too. They get jealous. They fight. They revenge. Things like that. So there's no immune to it. So, so that's why, insight, you being with insight, being with wisdom, wherever you go, you will know your way out. You will get your way out. If you're in heaven, you're born in heaven. Like let's say, the princess got born in the Brahma world in heaven, with a long life span up there. At the end of his or her life up there in the Brahma world, if he or she has wisdom, then he or she might alter the attitude or the state of mind, however, that stay wholesome, then the reborn will be different. Either come back as Brahman or come back in the human life with wisdom and wealth and all that. But if born as an animal, that means the state of mind at that time was unwholesome. So there you go. So here now we have the opportunity in the temple or wherever that you learn the Buddha teaching to cultivate, promote your wisdom, your knowledge, your insight. So later on, when you take rebirth, so wherever you are, let's say that for some reason you reborn as a hungry ghost because of something wrong in the lung, you're born a hungry ghost, but you understand about rejoice the punya, the wholesome deed of someone else doing. You gain merit, you gain punya, and then you quickly be free from it. That's also insight. That's also take insight to do it. But it takes practice now in this life, in human life here, in the temple here, we often encourage each other. When you see someone doing good deed, wholesome deed, we often utter the word called sadhu, called English we call bravo, well done. You take delight in someone else doing good things. And you have this habit, you build up this habit. It's become natural to you. But for some reason, you fall down into the hungry ghost. Remember, when you saw someone, you can still see other people. They might not see you, but you can see them. Then you see them doing wholesome deed. You sadhu. You happy with that because you can't do it yourself. Because different world, right? You cannot do it yourself. But you see someone doing good deed like that, you complicit with it. You bravo, you sadhu, you happy. Then you yourself also gain punya. And that's how you free yourself out of it. But if you don't learn, you don't practice to take joy in other people rejoice, you get jealous, you get envy, you put down, yeah, there's nothing, you know, or something like you don't get punya, but you become more unwholesome in that way. Or you just been indifferent when you see someone doing good deed, you just look, and then I don't know what they're doing. Don't gain any merit at all. You don't have any unwholesome, but because indifferent, you don't commit any unwholesome deed, but you don't get anything. You just everything fall off. So learn when you still have a chance. When you see someone doing good deed, when you see someone reach out and give the poor or the homeless something to eat, help them to elevate their suffering, then you, this person, he has a good mind, good heart, good thing, and hopefully this beggar will be free from hunger and things like that. You have this compassion, and you also have this rejoice in someone good deed. You might gain maybe 60% from the punya that person do. You don't get 100% because you don't put anything out. You're just only happy with it. So you can't gain the 100% punya. Okay? He get 100% punya, but you gain 60% or 40 or 50. Better than nothing. You don't do anything. You don't lose any of your property. You still gain something. Why not? Right? That's what I always do. So that's why when you come to the temple or you hear some Buddhists called sadhu, they mean that they are, praised, good, someone doing good deed. Okay. So there you go, today's lesson. We love to talk about kamma, about the action, because it's a very hot topic, very popular topic, but all of us always commit some kind of action, and we don't know what's going to happen, right? And we don't know when the result will be there. Another way to look at it is when you plan something, it takes time to bear the fruit. It depends on the condition, right? Just like that. So cause and result is just like that. Because of the weather, it delayed the harvesting time, that's also the condition that factor in that cause the result to delay, right? Or you want to speed up the fruit of the tree that you just grow by continue fertilizing it, good thing for it to, bear the fruit, more abundant, quicker to bear the fruit. Or you don't, because you don't know better, you don't, feed them fertilizer, or you don't water enough, or the soil is poor, whatever. It might not bear the fruit, or might bear the fruit in a very late time. So think of it like that. Action is done, the result yet to come. However you want it is also up to you. Good deed, good action, you try to fit in more good action to bear the fruit quicker. Bad action, you try to do more good action to kind of dilute the bad action, or to kind of block it for it to bear the fruit. So it's up to you. It's up to us to do it. No one else can help us. Okay? So I think now it's 1 o'clock. Time is enough. Unless you have one last question, we can continue without chanting and sharing marriage, sharing punya. Okay? All right. So let's do it.